Today on America's Court with Judge Ross.
I have risen above the root chakra. I do not seek sex.
You're telling me, Judge, I did not try to kiss her.
Yes, sir.
Did you touch her at all?
Of course.
The whole purpose behind law is to right wrong. I want justice to be something that isn't this foreign concept.
Justice knows no boundaries. The truth will be heard. Fair, firm, compassionate. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. Melina Chandler is suing yoga instructor Barun Das in the amount of $4,687.50. She says she took classes from the defendant and he did nothing but ogle her. Mr. Das says the plaintiff was giving him signs that she was interested in him.
All rise. Remain standing and come to order. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Kevin Ross presiding.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated.
All parties have been sworn, Your Honor.
Get up, Ms. Harris. Ms. Chandler, you're into yoga.
Yes,
Your Honor. I like yoga. I like it. What made you decide to get into that?
Well, I had been practicing yoga on my own for years, but the classes in question, and particularly the spiritual guidance I had sought after liberating myself from a relationship that was toxic and both emotionally and physically abusive.
And so now you're suing Mr. Das for $4,687.50 because you want your money back from all of the classes that you had taken.
Yes, Your Honor, and actually I'm only suing for half of the value of the classes that I took with him.
All right.
I do feel that the technical yogic instruction that I received was of some value, but in the...
What dollar amount would you put on that value?
Well...
Because you're suing for half, so you're saying...
Right.
You had half of the value. Fair enough?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Das, let me go to you. You are the actual instructor for this particular facility, right?
Yes, sir.
Is this your yoga studio?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been doing this, sir?
I've been doing yoga for many years at this facility for 10 years.
All right. And people who tend to follow you and come on a regular basis, what are some of the things you're hearing? Is it mostly women? Is it young, old? Is it men?
I offer my services to everybody.
Yes.
I would say that my demographic is mostly women. There is no... everybody is an individual, and so I try to treat them individually. There are certain generic poses and things that you need to go through, and my role is to point them in that direction and urge them in that direction.
And do you pretty much do it just yourself, or do you have a staff? How does that work?
Well, this class is run by me, and I take care of everything. You know, so I've booked the classes. I know each student personally, and
is it pay as you go?
There's a pay as you go, and there's a discount for operating on
a more long-term, already prepaid sessions.
Yes.
And, Your Honor, I was paying not only for the group yoga classes, which were charged $65 per class, but also
which
for
is about
private...
the going rate. That's about right.
Yes,
and
but I was also
additional?
for private spiritual guidance sessions that were charged at $125 per class.
That sounds kind of pricey.
And, well, I
you
certainly
you were
think
getting
so
something
now. I believed so. I have receipts for fees paid, if you'd like to see them.
And what made you decide to do your yoga training and teaching with Mr. Das?
Well, during one of our private sessions, you know, yoga is a physical practice, and I understand that from time to time it requires physical contact between a student and an instructor.
Well, especially in certain poses, because I've tried it before.
Yes, yes, Your
And
Honor.
I used to say to people, what's the big deal? I mean, it's not that hard.
Well...
And then I went in there and I went, whoa, I can't quite get that, or stay there, or... You know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're saying.
it's a little bit more involved than what it seems.
Yes, and
you were
I'm
having
not
problems
I'm
posing?
not questioning the appropriate physical contact from our yoga classes.
Okay.
What I'm calling into question is an incident during one of our private sessions when Mr. Davis made an explicit sexual advance on me. He tried to kiss me.
Well, I'm sorry, wait,
which was
I
not
thought it's DOS.
DOS is a term of respect, and quite frankly, after this incident, I don't feel comfortable addressing him with that spiritual
Oh, that's not your
title.
actual name.
It's not the name I was born with, but it is my actual name now.
Did you change your name?
Doing business as
All right, so on your driver's license, what's your last name?
Davis.
All right, so I'm going to refer to you as Mr. Davis. All right, and so but you're saying the DOS denotes a certain deference.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you no longer want to give him that deference.
No, Your Honor.
But at one point, you were giving him that deference.
Yes, Your Honor.
And something happened that caused you to change that.
This man. Yes.
All right. What was it that he did that violated your trust?
As I said, during our private sessions,
Yes.
he made a sexual advance. He tried to kiss me without my permission. And
That's not true,
without
Your
any.
Honor.
It is true. It is
A lie
true.
unchallenged becomes the
Please
truth.
don't insult me.
Wait, I'm sorry. What did you say?
A lie unchallenged can become the truth.
Well, I'll be the judge of that.
Coming up on America's Court,
I have risen above the root chakra. I do not seek sex.
You're telling me, Judge, I did not try to kiss her.
Yes, sir.
Did you touch her at all?
Of course.
and later
His hand would slip, on my private parts, and I just felt
And
that
this
was...
is in the class with other people?
Yes, I just felt that he was...
Something was off.
closed captioning provided by This is America's Court with Judge Ross. We're back with the case of Melina Chandler, who is suing Barun Das for misrepresentation.
So it's your testimony that he was inappropriate towards you.
Yes, Your
Was
Honor.
it just the two of you there?
Yes, it was a private session.
And how did this, explain to me how it got to that point.
Well, during these private sessions, because there is the element of spiritual guidance and therapy, there's an element of healing and of giving and of vulnerability. He asks a lot and really delves into past trauma. And so he would ask about my past relationship, my previous relationships, and I would tell him. And I believe
And what
that
was it
he
about your past
grossly,
relationship that was traumatic?
I was physically and emotionally abused.
By a boyfriend, a husband? Or,
Yes, by my boyfriend.
And you said physically as in you were a victim of domestic violence?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did it go on for a period of time?
It did, Your Honor. And I luckily found the courage to free myself.
Was that the first time you had been in a
physically-
situation like that?
Yes, Your Honor.
That had to have been pretty traumatic.
I was in a very vulnerable position and was being taken advantage of. And the ways that this was brought up again in this incident with Mr. Davis was incredibly painful. And quite frankly, I think I'm being incredibly just in only asking for half of the amount of money that I paid this man who presents himself as a spiritual leader, as a man of God, because he is not.
Mr. Davis?
She's a young girl who has not yet learned to master her body or her sexuality, and that's why she came to me.
That doesn't sound right.
Well, no, it's not right, and that's why I'm asking to help.
No, I'm saying, to me, that doesn't sound right. She's not 10. She's a grown woman. So when you say she hasn't learned how to master her body, what do you mean?
For the very same reason that she came to me, there's physical control and then control of your physique, of your chakra, of your divine energy. And when I awaken this divine energy, it can be misinterpreted as sexual energy. But it's
Your
not,
Honor,
because
I'm
I am
well
above.
aware.
Let him finish.
I have risen above the root chakra. I do not seek sex.
You're telling me, Judge, I did not try to kiss her.
Yes, sir.
Did you touch her at all?
Of course.
And you're saying that you were touching her, because when you say of course, I'm like, that's not a good answer for you. I'm just saying.
But I'm here to tell the truth. And to say that I did not touch her.
Of course, you're saying from a standpoint of these poses, these yoga poses?
Exactly.
Prior to this incident, had he touched you before in a turn? I mean, I understand from a technique standpoint, sometimes you say, oh, we'll move your arm here, or was he touching you like that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did it feel uncomfortable or inappropriate for you?
I didn't feel uncomfortable at the time because I had absolute trust that this man was acting appropriately.
And once this situation happened, did you ever go back?
No, I immediately ceased going to classes.
Okay. And did you say to him, I want you to pay me back?
I did.
And your response was what? Was there a contract involved? What are we talking about?
I provided the services that I said I would, and even if she felt that I was inappropriate in some way, I don't see how that counts as a discount.
Really?
No.
You need to look deeper, because I see it.
And coming up on America's Court with Judge Ross.
His hand would slip on my private parts, and I just felt
And this is in the class with other people?
Yes, I just felt that he was...
Something was off.
Closed captioning provided by This is America's Court with Judge Ross. We're back with the case of Melina Chandler, who is suing Barun Das for misrepresentation.
In every other respect prior to that particular day, you were happy with the services he was performing.
I was. I felt slightly uncomfortable at times.
But you kept going
but
back.
because I was being asked to make myself vulnerable.
Coming back for private
He professes
sessions.
that it's part of the road to
raises a good
spiritual
point.
healing.
And coming back for private sessions as opposed to sessions where there's a group, so you're not necessarily...
Where $125 is not outrageous.
I get it. I understand. This is very interesting. You have a witness. I don't know who this person is.
Yes, I do. My friend Christina, who has also been made uncomfortable in class,
Step
has
forward.
bravely volunteered to come support
What's your last
me.
name, ma'am?
my last name is Navarro.
Miss Navarro?
Yes.
You have been in the class with Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Why did you join his particular yoga studio?
Well, I did have a pretty much tragic, pretty much event happen to me with the passing of my mother last year, so I started seeking a spiritual journey, and
So it was a challenge for you dealing and coping with the loss of your mom.
Yes, very.
And out of all the different ways you could have dealt with that, grief counseling, taking up something, whatever the form, you decided you were going to move in the direction of yoga.
Yes.
You hadn't been doing yoga prior to that?
No.
All right.
I was searching for an outlet for the stress it's caused emotionally, physically.
Do you feel you benefited from Mr. Davis's training and expertise?
No.
Okay. Why?
I was attending his yoga classes, and
How many?
just a few, not as many as her, maybe
So-
about 10 or so.
Over the course of a week, a month, 3 months?
About 3 months.
Okay. So for 3 months you went, and you obviously were feeling like you were getting something out of it because you kept going back.
I was going, well, at first, I did not feel any disrespect from him, but as I kept going more and more, I felt that he was disrespecting me.
How?
Well, when I was working on my poses, he
Your
would...
poses and the yoga poses?
Yes.
Yes.
He would be going around and he would be correcting my posture, but I just felt that his hand
Why'd you do that, correcting your posture?
Well-
Because typically I've seen that happen, where people's postures are corrected. But
yes,
it's
but
left
I
you feeling a certain way?
I just got a bad vibe. I mean, his hand
Did he
would
say
slip.
or do anything to you?
His touching, it would just, I just didn't feel
Where
it
did he
was...
touch you?
His hand would slip, on my private parts, and I just felt
And
that
this
was...
is in the class with other people?
Yes,
And you were doing this while you were engaged in the yoga session?
yes. I just felt that he was...
Something was off.
Yes.
Coming up on America's Court.
We asked you to take a lie detector test, and you declined. You were willing to take one.
Yes, Your Honor, I wasn't.
Here are the results.
Closed captioning provided by This is America's Court with Judge Ross. We're back with the case of Melina Chandler, who is suing Barun Das for misrepresentation.
Did you sue him?
I did not.
Did you complain to anyone?
I kept it to myself for a while. I was just afraid to speak up.
Because?
I was already going through a lot, and I didn't want to even cause myself even more stress, and I wanted to
I'll
not
just
say
stop
anything.
going.
Yeah, I just felt vulnerable, and I felt that he was taking advantage of that. So just like her, I just,
And what made you decide to come today?
Well, Melina, my friend, she decided to speak up, and she gave me the courage to do the same.
Got it.
So through his class, I was thinking, well, with the inappropriate touching, at the time I was thinking, maybe it's just me. So I was still having distress, and that's when I
understand.
I sought for a Reiki energy healing that he had performed. But there was more touching within that healing.
Are you still going to yoga?
No.
You stopped going altogether.
I stopped going altogether. I just got discouraged.
Sorry to hear that. You weren't there when Mr. Davis and Ms. Chandler were in the situation, right?
No.
No. Thank you. You can be seated.
Thank you.
So I have a he say, she say situation here. And we asked you to take a lie detector test when you declined. You were willing to take one.
Yes, Your Honor, I was.
Here are the results. The first question we asked was, were you attracted to yoga instructor Barun Das? You responded with the answer, no. The lie detector test found no deception. And the second question that was asked of you is, did Barun Das make an attempt to kiss you? You said yes. The lie detector test found inconclusive. It couldn't get a read one way or the other.
Judge Ross's verdict when America's Court returns. You're watching America's Court with Judge Ross. This is America's Court with Judge Ross.
My role as a judge is to look at the facts and make a decision based on, were you able to prove your case based on a preponderance of the evidence. And so what I have is, I've got you, and you're very credible. And it's not that he's so uncredible or not credible, but I don't have anything tangible to say with certainty to the level of the standard that's required by the law. And it's really tough to have to say this. But your matter's dismissed. Case closed.
All rise.
Judge Ross has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim is denied.